Wow.
Is this a sign from the universe that
Wow.
we're not meant to be doing this?
Or are we?
I don't
Hello, test. Maybe it is testing us. Our strength.
know. Patience. Persistence.
Yeah, why not? The universe only gives you what you can handle. No more, no less. Wow, what a start. What a start on fire. All right. Take 3. Action. Hey.
Hello.
Welcome. So we've had a few attempts at this. We've been trying to get the audio right. And I think we've got it. If you're watching this, then you've got it. We've got it.
Yeah.
So Rachel and I thought we'd talk about the business, which is totally entwined in our lives and our relationship and our kids and in our community. So yeah, we thought we'd give a little background of how we started and how we came to be and how we started together. So start at the very beginning.
It's a very good place to start.
Rachel loves musicals, so
You got
continue that theme. That's all right. She's influenced me in many ways. That's one of them. So yeah, it was. I'll go back. We opened the business in 2010, but prior to that, I was a carpenter, working as a carpenter on the tools, and then went into management of carpentry. Started to manage job sites, which was a lot better on my body, but it was still pretty hard going. I was working really long hours as a carpenter. I was also playing footy at the time as well. So, you know, playing footy and carpentry, working sort of 6 days a week, and then playing footy on one day of those weeks. It was pretty full on. And so I still remember this day, I was burning the candles at both ends. I was, at this stage, I had a training trial with the Broncos the year before in rugby league, and I'd go to training in the morning from about 6 to about 9 a.m, go to work as a carpenter, and then finish it around about 4 p.m, head over training at the Queensland Cup squad I was playing with at the time, and that really, I did that for a full pre-season, maybe a month and a half, 6 to 8 weeks, and then a little bit into the next year. I think I finished up around about February, almost March, and it was a pretty intense time for me, and I realised, oh man, I really wanted to continue to play football and wanted to try and make a professional go of it. I really need to look at my career choices in terms of what I was doing away from the field. I'd finished my apprenticeship at that time, and so going into management was the next best thing. And then I still remember rocking up on a job site and telling someone to put a hard hat on because someone was putting roof sheets on the roof, and the gentleman told me some quite colourful language and said, "No, I'm not putting it on." I said, "Well, get off the site. I can't have you on the site. I want you to go home to your family and get off the site." And at that moment, my boss walked around the corner. I was like, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm done." And then, I started getting my certification for my personal training, Cert 3 and Cert 4 in health and fitness. Actually, it was a diploma, diploma in business and in fitness. And that's where I met Rachel. It was the 7th of April, 2009. Walked in the door at 5:45. She was there smiling at me with this beautiful presence in her eyes, and
That's where we met.
That's where we first met.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the course. I was still working at the time. I told my boss, I think I'm done, but I kept working. But slowly they knew what I was doing in behind the scenes with health and fitness and those sorts of things, and supported me behind that. Gave me a little bit less work, less responsibility, but still had me, working on the tools and those sorts of things. So, that transition, it took me a year to get my diploma, my dual diploma in fitness and business, and so that process was, pretty full on as well. Like I was still playing football at the time, and so, Monday to Friday, I'd go to work as a carpenter from 5:30, 6 a.m. all the way till about 4 p.m. On Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'd go to training. Tuesday, Thursday, I'd go into the course and study. Saturday as well, and I didn't have much of a life then, but I was very grateful that I did the course. It was very eye-opening, and it was amazing. So, after that, I met, or through that process, my coach was actually Rachel's partner at the time, Big Diety. Shout out to Diety if you watch this. And so, from there, when I'd finished the course, we were actually training in the college. Was Diety? He had a business that the best students he'd bring through and say, hey, look, come and I want you to train your clients in here so we can show the other students how to run a training session and how to treat their clients, and you can also mentor some of them as well, which was really cool being able to do that. It's a great opportunity to learn and to keep learning underneath him, an expert trainer, but then also to then start to hone my own craft as well. And Rachel obviously was around then as well to help me out, and Anything you wanted to add to that? Is there anything I missed out there?
No.
Rachel was running the college at the time. You want to tell us about that and your background with that as well?
Yeah, sure. So I started there when I was 19 at the fitness college, and at that stage initially started out in the sales part, but very quickly kind of realised that I didn't love that. So moved to the admin side of things, and then progressed my way through to the point where I was kind of the PA to the CEO and operations manager for the company. So based in Brisbane, but would travel to all our other colleges as well to make sure things were running smoothly. And I was there for 6 years at the college, and through that process, as Luke mentioned, that's where we met. And initially we were really great friends, built a great friendship right from the start. So it was really, really cool. And then to see him progress in a way so quickly in gaining clients, and you initially started out wanting to work with athletes, and then to see how that evolved into who he actually sort of attracted into the business was pretty cool as well. So after you were in the college gym for a bit, then you went out on your own, and
it was great. And then I did a bit of research and thought, where's the best location sort of around Brisbane? Most population density, and it was here in New Farm, and it was, I came to check it out, and it was a good spot. Actually, I think this was our first spot we actually checked out. We had a little, it was about a 30
something.
I think it was a 36 square metre studio, which is, was enough. It was pretty small, little office, consultation area, and then just an open plan gym. But it was great. A shower, little kitchenette, and that was all I needed to get started. It was a really good opportunity to kick things off there, and and fast forward. When did you come into the business? Was it?
I left the college in 2010, but was doing my own thing for a while.
That's right. Yeah,
and sort of helping you with, and some other fitness businesses with behind the scenes sort of stuff. And then
you're working with the Chiro too.
Yeah, working at the Chiro, and then you got to a point where you were training. Your training load was quite big in terms of training clients and the admin side of things, and all the behind the scenes stuff, which you don't necessarily love doing either. You're like, I could use some help. So fortunately, we were able to bring me in, and
I remember getting to that stage where I was like, this is not my strength. Can you help me? You were so much more efficient at it, and I was like, it's a no-brainer. Like, you come into the business full time, and but let's go back. I think also that our relationship as well. We started off as best friends, and it was interesting. I actually said to Didi, I was like, "Oh no, I couldn't date Rachel."
After we'd broken up, I had
Yeah,
broken up with
yeah,
Didi for
yeah.
months, so
Yeah.
just gonna.
And I said, "Oh, I possibly couldn't date Rachel because number one, because of Didi, I wouldn't want to do that to a friend and my coach and my mentor, and then two, like I didn't want to ruin our friendship."
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I can't remember exact words, but something like, "Oh, you got rocks in your head. If you don't go on date, you're being silly. It's just being stupid. You're just too self-absorbed. And you both love each other." And I just couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And we were just really good friends, and I didn't want to ruin that. So we always had an agreement, like, let's make sure we're friends first, and let's communicate that way too. Let's be honest with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I shared everything with Rachel because she was, you were going to be like, you're my best friend, and you still are. That's like, you share everything with your best friend.
Yeah.
So I shared everything with you. So it made me think, well, if you know absolutely everything about me and you still accept me for me, then wow, wow. Yeah, with all of my colourful parts.
Which we all have.
What a beautiful way to start.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, fast forward. We only lasted in that first little studio. I think it was about 9 months, and then we pretty much doubled the size of the studio, moved into a double size space. I started to get a bit of burnout because I was training a lot of one-on-one clients, and group training was the next best option to be able to help as many people as possible, and also to be able to, leverage that as well. And the number one, we started to get more and more into group training because I remember I was walking literally up the road here, and I walked to the cafe on the corner, Moray Cafe, and I remember I walked past it, and I used to go and sit out the front for the owner, Luke, when he was like, just sit at the front and just drink coffee, and everyone will come in. I'll give you a couple of free coffees, and he's a great bloke. And he's like, once they see one person is sitting out front, it'll bring a lot more people in. I remember going there, and I saw these two clients, and I'm like, wow, they were really getting along, having a good laugh, enjoying each other's company. And then I was like, it just dawned on me. I'm like, oh, I wonder if they actually knew each other. Maybe they did. So I asked them next time they came in, I'm like, oh, did you guys actually know each other before you came in here? And they're both like, no, we didn't know each other. We met here. And that's when a light bulb went off, and I went, oh, it's really building community. It's building friendships and relationships, and it's bigger than just the training. And that's, for us, that's what we've always focused on. It's more than just the physical training that you're coming in for. It's taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. It's building people around you that you can trust, that are on the same wavelength as you. Maybe they're on the same health and fitness journey as them, and they want to enjoy that journey and foster healthy relationships along that way. So it's sort of it's just such a privilege to be able to work in this community in New Farm and have the amount of beautiful people that we've been able to serve through the business. And I still walk down the street and see a lot of people that I've trained in the past.
Yeah, lovely.
It's just down at Coles, you bump into someone, hey, how you going? It's just such a beautiful community that we get to be here and to serve our clients. So we've been now up and running for over 14 years, and our business has continued to evolve, I think, because we've evolved as well.
Definitely.
Did you want to start to talk about that, I suppose?
Yeah, for sure. So, starting the group training was amazing, and that really took off. And then, when we had our first child, that was probably the next evolution, I guess, of our business and our life. For me, as a new mother, I was finding it really hard to, feel connected. It's quite an isolating time. We had a highly sensitive child who just wanted to be, on me or near me or, on Luke for every nap. And, we didn't have any time apart really from her, which is, looking back, was so grateful because the time goes so quickly. But when you're in the trenches, it can be really sort of full on. So and even though I had access to a studio here, you know, just getting the motivation to exercise sometimes was quite hard. And so we thought, well, why don't we, you know, there's got to be more people feeling the way I'm feeling. Let's just throw it out to my friends who are mums and start a little exercise group. And actually that came from working out with a friend. Yeah. I really noticed how much easier it was to get my workouts in because I would, you know, go to a friend's house, exercise with her, then we'd hang out and chat for ages and vent and cry and laugh and all the things, and the babies were there with us. So that's really where it came from. So then we opened that invitation up to a wider group, and that's when our Mums and Bubs training started, and that was when our eldest was 18 months old. She's nearly 11 now, so yeah, you know, we've been training twice a week for all that time, and it's really beautiful to be able to provide a space, I guess, for mums to have somewhere to be, you know, get out of the house, have a reason to get out of the house, particularly when they're in the trenches of sleep deprivation and all that stuff. But have a community as well where they can, you know, feel safe to share and show up, you know, in all their iterations, to, you know, sleep deprivation, you know, sore, you know, just feeling stretched and overwhelmed. You know, it's a safe space for them to come, but then also to help them ease back into exercise without doing further injury and stuff, because, you know, a pregnant or a newly postpartum body, you know, needs to be handled with care. So, yeah, that was our next kind of focus, I guess, of where our energy went in the business.
Yeah, I think having kids ourselves made us realise, oh wow, there's a lot more to this than and no one has a manual.
Yeah,
so it's like, you know,
just work it out as you go.
Kids are all different, and you know, they're definitely teaching us. That's for sure.
Definitely.
And then I suppose fast forward on my side of things at that sort of same time in 2017, I went back to football in 2013. Actually, I went back to football for myself, and I had a really good business coach, and said, he said, you know, you've done all your training in nutrition and movement and kinesiology and everything I could possibly do in terms of you know, diplomas. He said, your next step would probably be go to university. And he said, oh, before you think about that though, you think you finished with rugby league? And you could tell by the smile on my face, and my energy shifted, and I was like, well, clearly not. There's something there. So I think I was 27 when I went back to rugby league, and that was pre-kids. But when I went back to rugby league, I went back because I wanted to make a difference in the community, because it'd given me so much as well. I could share some stories about that another time. But throughout that process, I was able to, the NRL invited me to become a wellbeing manager for the club. I was a little bit more mature, and I was still playing at the time, and I was fortunate enough to then go on to work for Queensland Rugby League in the wellbeing and education space, which also, you know, made me open my eyes to, you know, the psychology, the sports psychology behind why we do what we do, and opened up different realms of, you know, nutrition again, in terms of, you know, not just fueling our body to look good and feel good, but what about our brain function? What about also our quote unquote, you know, energetic system? How are we fueling that as well? And then also, how do we live a holistic life? And that sort of started to really shape my education journey in terms of, you know, where I was going with my own life, and, you know, training people. I love it, but then I suppose come back to this in the future. But you know, I'm a Piscean. I'm a bit of an explorer. I love to explore. I've got a really curious mind, so exploring the depths of the mind and the energy and my energy, and also finding about what's my life about. What am I here to learn? What am I here for on this earth, and what is that purpose? And having kids, I suppose, will do that as well. Both of us, you know, as most people through 2020 have evaluated their lives and had a look at what they were doing and went, oh, I can do so much more with my time here. And you know, we all realise that, man, our time here is very limited, and I've got to make sure that, you know, my moments count, my moments matter. And so, you know, I started to study energy medicine as a result of that. And then as a result of that, Rachel also started to do her own studies and pursue what was really lighting her up. So we sort of both went, well, if we're to be really true with ourselves, and I suppose just also that evolution of learning and growing and mastering different levels, I felt like in the physical, doing physical training and physical health and fitness, I sort of went, oh, let me just try the energetic now. It's sort of I've done the nutrition, I've done the physical, I've done the mental training with all that sort of stuff as well. And then energetics was the next one. So here we are. I've finished my energy medicine practitioner's course, and I got a master practitioner in energy medicine. That was in 2021 I started. 22. Finished in 22. Took me roughly about 6 months to do that program, and it's an oral tradition, so it's passed down from master to student, and so spending time with quote unquote the masters and learning from them. A lot of the medicine comes from North America, but also some of it's steeped here in Australia as well, in the medicine men of this country. Our ancestors that have been here for 65,000 years, and I've been progressively learning more and more through my own practices as well. So I'll hand over to Rachel now. She's also, and what ties into that is like learning about myself is also that Hermetic principle of as above, so below, as within, so without. And so when Rachel's like, the way her mind operates and her, what she's drawn to is more the astrological stuff. So I'll hand it over to you. And
yeah, I think it all ties in really well together. As you mentioned, 2020 obviously was a bit of a moment for everyone to reevaluate things. And at that time, I was about to go from sort of being a full-time mum and having both kids in, kindy and school, and that was a huge identity shift for me. And so just questioning, who am I? What is my purpose? What am I here for? All those questions that you were sort of mentioning. And it led me to astrology and to really tap into the natural cycles of our life and of nature. That's what astrology is based on. So it actually complements what we do now really well, because, we are all energy. Everything is energy, and we're, constantly interacting with the energy around us. And so to go from purely doing physical training, as we did for many, many years, to then now be incorporating the energetic side of it, it really does complement, because a person can come in and, have a perfect exercise program written for them, but if there's, big stuff happening energetically, they may not have the motivation or the drive to really put it into action. So to know those moments when you're going to be feeling the effects of that in some way is really useful. And incorporating breath work at our weekly sessions and in our sessions throughout the week as well. All these other modalities that really help the whole person. That's where we've really sort of evolved to, particularly over the last few years. So, yeah, it's been an interesting journey.
And here we are today. So I think that it'll continue to evolve, because that's what we always do as a species. Human beings evolve. If we look at when our parents or even our grandparents, what they were doing, you look at how you're watching this right now, and technology, the rate of technology is growing at a rapid rate, but some of these ancient practices have been around for the beginning of time, which is quite amazing. The technologies that we have within us, as long as we know how to channel our own energy and use that in a way which is going to be helpful for us and the community and the world at large. So, how do we, first of all, take control over our own energy, and what is that? And that's the first point of call of discovering who we are as individuals, but then also collectively, what are we all doing here? What are we here to learn, or what are we here to evolve into, and who are we evolving into as well? And are we leaving a legacy for our children's children? They're going to inherit this. So are we leaving them, something to take care of, or are we leaving them something to, to continue to grow and evolve and to explore and have a world to explore.
Beautiful.
Alrighty. If you've got any questions though, please reach out. We'll put some little links below if you've got any questions around what we spoke about. This is just obviously a video for us talking about our business, where we've come from, where we're going to now. We're actually looking at doing a rebranding in the next couple of months. This year sometime we'll be going through that. So yeah, it's very exciting times ahead. So this is the first of many conversations we're going to have. This is probably the first of our, I suppose, podcasts that we're going to start to do more of as well. So you'll see more of us. If you've got any questions, please throw them in the comments or click the links, make a call, give us a buzz. We'd love to have a chat.
Beautiful.
Over now.
Bye-bye.
Woohoo!